Today, we're going to take a closer look at your favorite semiconductor company. There's some pretty interesting news. Intel CEO just mentioned that Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, will be joining him during Intel's Foundry event. I'm not going to lie, this has caught my attention due to the various announcements Intel has been making in the past few weeks and the recent reports and rumors that OpenAI CEO has been seeking billions of dollars for AI chip factories. For those that are new here, my name's Jose Najarro, and I spent way too much time reading about semiconductors. But thanks to that, my master's in electrical engineering and my experience working at various innovative companies, I have created the #1 semiconductor podcast for investors. So let's get started with today's episode.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first, let's start off with the tweet. And here, Pat Gelsinger, the CEO of Intel, mentioned that he is thrilled that Sam Altman is joining him at Direct Connect on February 21st. And for those that are not familiar, like I mentioned in the intro, Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI. And OpenAI is the creator of a lot of AI solutions, especially the #1 large language model right now, ChatGPT-4. They've also created numerous kind of solutions for the image generation like DALL-E, and the list goes on and on. And they have a huge backing from Microsoft. And the second thing I also wanted to mention is, for those that are not familiar with Intel right now is focusing on their foundry business. And right now, their foundry business is a very small portion of their total revenue. Very, not even $1 billion yet. But this company is advancing into the manufacturing nodes, into manufacturing capacity, as they build plants all over the world, in Europe, here in the United States, in Arizona and Ohio, for example. And on February 21st of 2024, Intel is going to hold their IFS Direct Connect 2024, which is all the updates coming in with the foundry business. And Intel has this goal of becoming the #2 external manufacturing fab for semiconductors by 2030. Right now, #1 is TSMC and #2 is Samsung. Intel is very far off the list in that, but they want to be #2 by 2030. And some ways that they are doing this is, like I mentioned earlier on, they are kind of building their own manufacturing capacity, but in other ways, they are making pretty interesting partnerships. So Intel, for example, teamed up with UMC, which is another fab, on developing 12 nanometer chips. We've also seen them kind of partner up with another manufacturing company called Tower Semiconductor, which they originally were going to acquire, but that didn't go through. So instead, they did partnerships with them. And they've also kind of made partnerships with ARM for multi-year, multi-generation collaboration. So we can see that Intel really has this strong goal of becoming this strong player in the manufacturing business. Now, the reason I'm interested about this tweet that we saw earlier today is because for Sam, the CEO of OpenAI, we have been hearing a lot of reports. And before we take a closer look at those reports, guys, if you are new to this channel, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate all of the support I'm getting in this channel, especially because semiconductor companies are cool right now. And for those that are not familiar, I've been doing this YouTube stuff for more than 5 years, and I've been talking about semi since before they were actually cool and hype. So now back to the video. We started to see in October that there were reports that ChatGPT owner OpenAI is exploring making its own AI chips. And then we didn't hear much for a while, but then starting in January, I believe in late December, we started to see that OpenAI CEO Sam wants billions for AI chips. And the reason they want for AI chip fabs, not AI chips. And so reportedly, by people that are within his circle and that know something, are saying that he's seeking billions of dollars in capitals to build out network of AI chip fabs. And one of the main things right now is there's a huge supply constraint in the chip manufacturing world for AI chips. And I'll talk a little bit about that. but this money will fund the construction and operations of chip factories around the world to support growing demand for neural network accelerators, aka H100, MI300s, and all types of AI chips. The goal of this program appears to build enough assembly lines to ensure that there is a healthy supply of AI processors to meet the demand. And they are working with top chip manufacturers. Maybe one of those top chip manufacturers is Intel here. And right now, they do mention again that the limit number of fabs capable of making high end chips is driving Altman or anyone else to bid for capacity years before you need it in order to produce the new chips. So this is what NVIDIA is kind of benefiting from, right? There is this huge supply constraint issues. So people or investors of these AI solutions are going to NVIDIA and placing their orders sometimes even a year ahead of time by saying, hey, look, we're going to need your next generation chips. Put us on top of the line. So, what this kind of investment in theory is expected to help reduce that supply chain constraint. Now, I want to say for those that are not familiar with the semiconductor market, this might make sense. But to someone like me who has some knowledge, not I'm not the complete genius, who has some knowledge in this space, I find it pretty weird. And the reason I find it a little bit odd is TSMC has mentioned this numerous times that right now for chip manufacturing, let's take a step back. For chip manufacturing, there's two main steps. There's the front end and the back end. The front end step is usually that wafer, that circle that you see that has multiple chips in them. And this is how the manufacturing process goes. The second step is usually called the back end. And the back end is where you're kind of putting all these chips and packaging them together to create the super AI chip, right? And that's where the supply chain issues is right now. TSMC says, hey, look, we have plenty of capacity. We have plenty of wafers to build as many AI chips on the front end. What we're having issues is the back end, which is advanced packaging. Like here we see the 3D fabric, which TSMC has. More importantly, CoWoS. So here, what I'm trying to think is there's not really much supply on building the chip manufacturing. It's more supply needed on advanced packaging solution. So obviously, I mean, Sam is a smart guy here. So I don't think I think these rumors and stuff. We don't know exactly what's happening, but I don't think he's really out there trying to build chip factories. I think he's really trying to get partnerships and to increase advanced packaging solutions. And that's something that Intel has actually been seeing a nice amount of demand for in their foundry business, advanced packaging. So this is where I believe since Intel has really done partnerships with numerous companies, I can kind of see a world, and we'll have to wait till February 21st when this kind of announces. But in my opinion, what's going to happen is Sam and Intel are just going to make some partnership like this, where Intel's most likely going to use its advanced packaging solutions to help build AI chips and reduce that supply constraint. Now, some other things to keep in mind of is OpenAI has this really amazing partnership and backing with Microsoft. And Microsoft, at the end of 2023, announced that they were creating their own AI accelerator. And that AI accelerator was the Maya 100 AI accelerator, which is being used to power some of the largest internal AI workloads running on Microsoft's cloud solution. They did mention that OpenAI has provided feedback on this chip and gave great insight on how to really optimize this chip for AI workloads. So it does seem like OpenAI has some form of maybe expertise or experience in seeing chip designs for the AI market. But I don't really think OpenAI is going to build their chip. I think they're going to work really well with Microsoft and continue to kind of get this partnership. Microsoft is going to continue to develop this AI chip, the Maya 100 AI accelerator, which they already announced they're working on generation 2 here. And OpenAI is going to be a great customer for them behind the backing that, hey, look, this partnership continues to do well. So at the end of the day, I do believe the major companies here are impacted are going to be Intel, TSMC, and NVIDIA. Like I mentioned, for Intel, I do believe this has the opportunity to become a pretty cool partnership. And the partnership with OpenAI in some way, indirectly, means a partnership with Microsoft, which obviously can bode well for their manufacturing, especially since Microsoft is creating its own AI chips. This can implicate a little bit of weakness maybe for TSM, as TSM needs to really push in that advanced packaging, but it's not something I would worry too much if I was a TSM investor. Now, some investors might be wondering, hey, is this bad news for NVIDIA, as we're going to see more competition here in the AI space? Well, I want to say if advanced packaging continues to grow and more companies kind of develop their own form of chip on wafer advanced packaging, then this can actually help NVIDIA's supply chain constraint right now and obviously make them have more revenue in the long term of things. And in forms of AI chips, I don't think any AI chip is a threat to NVIDIA at the moment, but that's something that as an investor in this market, you have to keep a closer eye on. At the moment, I don't think NVIDIA has anything to worry about, but as more news come out, as more benchmarks come out, as next generations of chips, we're gonna have to keep a closer eye on it. But right now, this really got me pretty excited about Intel, even though I don't own the stock, but I will be staying tuned to watching that event on February 21st. So if you haven't, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. And see you guys. Take care and have a good day.